Welcome back to West Texas View.
Brian Wisenhunt is our guest today. He's the Executive Director of the Museum of the Southwest, and we have been talking about for the last 2 weeks about the Museum of the Southwest, and we can tell you all about it, but you need to go and see it for yourself. It will be an experience that you will just wonder why you haven't been or why you haven't been lately. And so, Brian, in this last segment of our program, I want you just to tell us everything else you think we need to know about the museum to really motivate us to get up and act.
Well, I think I talked about it last week, but one of the most important things to remember is it's always different. There's always something that you haven't seen before, and we're always changing exhibitions, or we always have a different program happening, and so just check our website and you'll see that there is a lot of different opportunities that are always changing.
And the website is rolling across the screen as well as a way to contact the museum, and so we certainly recommend that people take that note down and then just call and ask questions. When is the best time to come? When is the best time to come and bring my family? And just all kinds of, what are the hours and so on.
Absolutely,
but they
all
can
those
get a lot
are
of
there.
those answered by looking at the website.
Absolutely, and we're in the process of remodeling our website right now. We're going to try to make it more user-friendly with all the information that you want about everything that's happening right there. So we're kind of in a growing stage right now, but all the details that you need to know are on the website. I think it's important to know the sculpture garden and the grounds, they're always open. It's part of a park. We're right there at Haley Park, and so if you want to come down on a nice evening and have lunch, we've got picnic tables, and that's free for everyone, as is the art museum. So I think that the most important thing is that the institution is very accessible to anyone in our community, anyone in the region.
But you and the board have designed some really special things to draw people in, and one of them is coming up. We're going to talk about that in another program about Septemberfest, but just in a nutshell, this is what?
Septemberfest, I think it's probably one of the signature events of the museum. This is my first time to experience it, but we have over 80 different artists, and this year we've done things a little differently, and those have been carefully selected. So we're going to have, most of them have never even been to the Septemberfest before, so about half of them are new to the experience. So you'll see artists and artisans that you've never seen there before. Last year, for the first time, we had a children opening on Saturday morning. That's for sponsors of the event, and it's a really special party just for kids. So Septemberfest is really a great experience for the whole family, from buying a special work of art to add to your collection or to start your collection, to just spending time with your kids and your family there on the grounds of the museum. It's really a special weekend I think everyone looks forward to.
And one of the things I told a wonderful little friend of mine who's headed off to college in the fall, I said, you need to go and spend a whole day at the art museum in preparation for your first art appreciation class in college and things like that. You just don't realize how much that helps for it to come alive.
And I think the other thing that's so important about the institution is our volunteers, and we have a lot of great volunteers for Septemberfest, but we also have a lot of volunteers that help out on a day-to-day basis at the museum and the Children's Museum, and Kristen Waxstrom, who's our new curator of education, is working on recruiting some volunteers. So I think there's probably people in the community that they want to have a different relationship with the institution. They want to be a part of the work we're doing, and we would welcome that. If they're interested, they can call the museum and talk to Kristen, and she's trying to grow and build our volunteer program.
And that's a great way to get involved in the community if you're a new resident.
Absolutely.
But it's also a great way to satisfy your passion. If art or museums or education is your passion, then you can really get a lot of that fulfillment.
Absolutely. You can be a part of the story. You can be a part of the work that we're doing for the Midland community. And it has a lot of benefits because you get to work with the staff, and you get to be a part of everything that's happening there at the museum.
And one of the things that I've appreciated about the museum is everything it's done has been done in a really classy way. There's not anything shoddy or second rate about it. And every time something new is added, it's thought out in a long process, so that how does this fit in with everything else? And so you have come into a great organization, and your experience is just going to help it become greater.
I hope so. I think we're going to work on our visitor experience. We're going to work on interactive things, and we're going to work on how people use the museum and the grounds, and that's kind of going to be the focus.
Well, and there's really nowhere else for you to go land-wise, is that right? I mean, if you wanted to add another gallery or something, there's really not anywhere else?
I'm not sure. We haven't really explored that. I think the footprint of the institutions, to me, seems very ample. There's just some details that we need to update, especially in the historic portion of the home, just so that it's still the showplace that it was intended to be when it was built, and it provides that same beautiful setting for the collection that it has for so many years. So I think we'll be looking, the board and the staff and myself will be looking more at improving some of the facilities, perhaps remodeling and doing some subtle changes to some of them, so that they better suit the uses for right now. So,
and one of the interesting things about the planetarium is that a lot of the planetariums in this part of the world started in the public schools, and then they did away with the public schools and now use this one instead of each one trying to have a little bitty one. Well, now they've got a really, really sophisticated one.
It's an amazing facility, and there's a great variety in the schedule as far as the programs that we have. Right now we have one that's about the build up to the exploration of space, which is so timely as the shuttle returns home to just a couple of weeks ago. So it's really a great thing to experience.
Well, we have so enjoyed having Brian and different members of the board and staff over the last few weeks, and I wanted to encourage you to take advantage of the information rolling across the screen and contact Brian or any of his staff members and make it a point that you schedule a time to go to the Museum of the Southwest very soon, and stop Brian on the street if you see him and welcome him to West Texas, or welcome him back, since he's got family in Pecos. Well, he's kind of home. And this is an organization and a facility that belongs to all of the Permian Basin. So thank you for joining us today, and thank you, Brian, for coming back today, and we'll see you next week with another program.
Thanks for joining us for News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery. This has been a public affairs presentation of KWAB-TV and KWES-TV.